Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, welcome to a new vlog. I'm Lee from Mortgage Freely. I talk about money and mum life on the internet, and today we're doing my June budget. This is well overdue. I haven't done a budget with me video for a few months, and honestly, it shows. I've just had a look at my spreadsheet and basically everything was wrong. Not only that, but we have got a lot of changes when it comes to our finances going on at the moment. I'll explain everything as we go through, but before we do, let me just set the scene. We are a 4-person household. We have 2 kids, one is 2, one is 6. We're 2 working parents. My husband works full-time. He has just changed jobs, which is part of what is changing in our budget. And I am part-time employed, so I do 20 hours at an employed job. The rest of my time, I'm a self-employed content creator. You will not see me budgeting off my self-employed income. For so many reasons. Number 1, it's variable. Number 2, it's not guaranteed. So we try to live on our guaranteed salaries alone, which has been tricky because since November I reduced my hours further, so I only now work 20 hours. Before that I was working something like 27, significantly more anyway. So the adjustment in the drop in my pay has been interesting. And frankly, we haven't been sticking to our budget. I'm just going to be open and honest about that though. There's no point in me coming on here pretending that we are absolutely perfect and we stick to our budget all the time, because we don't. We just don't. But now my husband's got his new job, I really want to get things back on track, reduce our spending, and I'll definitely do some vlogs on sort of low spend money saving, and start rebuilding some of the pots that we've depleted over the last 6 months. I always get questions about the budget spreadsheet that I'm using. This was the cheapest budget spreadsheet on planet Earth. It's from Etsy. I didn't make it, I bought it on Etsy. If I can, I will link it in the description box so that you guys can buy it. It might be an affiliate link, I don't know. But let's say it is, just to be safe. I think it cost me like 74p. This works perfectly for me. It's not overcomplicated. One thing you will see about my budget is I definitely keep it simple. Every single time we do these videos, my mantra is keep it simple. The more overcomplicated it gets, the less likely I am to make it in the first place and definitely stick to it. So that's the budget spreadsheet I'm using, and let's get right into updating it because we have got a lot to talk about. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that the month is set to June. Just to explain how my pay works, we don't get paid on the first of the month. I don't know if anybody actually does, but we don't get paid on the first of the month. And just to make things a little bit more complicated, my husband and I used to work for the same organisation, so we used to get paid on the same date as each other, but now he gets paid on a different day. So that's another adjustment that we've got to come. But essentially, we get paid in the second half of the month, so we've been paid, but more of our budget month is in June than it is in May. I hope this makes sense because I always feel like maybe it doesn't. We've got the majority of June to go before we get paid again, which is why I call it my June budget. But really, it's my May to June budget because it covers a little bit of both months. So we're going to change the month to June. The start date is, I don't even know when to put the start date from. I don't know whether to put it from my pay date or from my husband's pay date. If you get paid on different days, please let me know how you do this because this is a real revelation for us. We have been working for the same organisation for like 15 years. So we have always been paid on the same date. So to be paid a week apart is an adjustment for us. We'll put it down as the 23rd of May. And so it will end on the 22nd of June. We've got the spreadsheet set to pounds, which is our currency. You can change the currency settings on this spreadsheet. And you can see this section here, so the cash flow section, it will automatically populate itself based on what we put in the other sections. So the first big change was the income section. We usually budget off a budget of £4,500, which is based on an estimated income of £1,600. For me, I usually get paid like a tiny bit more, and I mean a tiny bit. And my husband's estimated salary of £2,900, which was again, just a little bit lower than what he usually gets paid. I like to do everything off the worst case scenario or just underestimate things rather than overestimate them for obvious reasons, I feel like. Now, this is the first big change. This month that we're in now is not going to be a typical month. And that is because my husband started his new job. The way he started it and the way the payroll works means he's been paid for more than a month. So he's been paid for like a week and a month. So he's got more pay than he usually would have. And because he's in a new system, he hadn't set up his pension contributions, so his employer pension contributions have gone in, but his personal ones haven't gone in. And we'll talk about what we're going to do about that in a bit. Needless to say, we have a lot more money than we usually have and than we will have on a regular basis. So this is very much a one-off bespoke budget for this month alone. I can't change our estimated budget amount, so I can't change that £2,900 yet to guesstimate what he will be earning because we don't know. We've got a rough idea and we think he'll be earning a few £100s more per month, but we don't know. Until next month, we have no idea. So I'm just going to leave it alone because it really doesn't matter. I have put the actual income amounts into this box here and this box here. I've just grayed them out so you can't see them because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share my husband's take-home salary. I'm not sure what the rules are for his new employment. But overall, we have £5,841.88 coming into our house this month, which is at least £1,000 more than we usually have, and definitely more than we will have on a regular basis. So you can see that that will populate up in the section above. So there we go. So that was our budget estimate. This is how much we've actually got. I have a really set way that I like to do my budget. It works for me, it might not work for you. As with everything in this video and everything with personal finance is personal. What works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. I will also make it clear at this point that I am not a financial advisor. I am in no way financially trained. This is not advice, and I'm just telling you what I do with my budget, because I know some of you enjoy it. And the next thing I am going to do is move on to my sinking funds. So this says savings summary on here. It's my sinking funds. If you don't know what sinking funds are the absolute game changer when it comes to budgeting your money. If there is one thing you take away from this video, take away sinking funds. Because I was never bad with my money before I started budgeting. However, I didn't have sinking funds, and it is just literally life-changing when it comes to money. I can't bang on about them enough. What they are is a pot of money that you save throughout the year for expenses that are one-off or irregular. So they're not like your bills, they're not going to come out every month. So when it comes to things like Christmas, birthdays, every year we know it's coming. But if you are me, pre-budget, you don't do anything about it until it gets here. And then it comes to the time that car service, the car MOT, Christmas, birthdays, holidays, and you are scrabbling around trying to find that money after the fact, sometimes for quite a while after the fact. Sinking funds make that a non-issue because you anticipate how much you are going to need to spend on those categories and you save it throughout the year, so the money is there when you need it. The way I do mine, people do them in different ways. They have lots of different pots. I don't do that. I don't have a pot for every single separate thing. I have two sinking funds. One is for holidays. This is the second year that we've had a holiday sinking fund. The first year we ever had one was last year. And at the moment we're saving £300 a month into a holiday sinking fund. That gives us £3,600 across the year towards our family holiday. Honestly, it's not enough this year. Our family holiday is costing us more than that. Don't get me started on how expensive holidays are this year. But it's £3,600 that I would have not had ready to go to cover that cost in the first place before doing this. Then I have my essential sinking fund, which is basically a pot where I put all of my other sinking funds. Most of my sinking funds are related to cars or insurances. I don't like to pay things monthly. I think the only thing we pay monthly that we don't have to pay monthly is our TB licence, and if I had my way we wouldn't. But my husband's always had that set up on his account and that's how he does it. Everything else, so we're talking car MOT, car service, car insurance, house insurance, the green waste bin, because we have to pay for our green waste to be removed here. So like your gardening, cuttings and grass mowing and all that sort of stuff, you have to pay for it to be removed here. All of that goes in one pot in my essential sinking funds. I keep saying I will do a video on exactly how I manage and figure out my essential sinking funds, and I will. Mental note to do that. But it's all in one pot and I save £400 a month towards that, which means the pot's getting towards a value of almost £5,000 throughout the course of the year. It works really well for me because most of my expenses are in the end of the year, so most of them around sort of October, November time, so it works really well. I also have Christmas in there and birthdays, and again, the stress relief when it comes to Christmas and I've got all that money is just like chef's kiss. Anyway, enough banging on about sinking funds. Let's actually update this. So it's got me down as I'm budgeting £300 and £400, and that is exactly what we are going to put in there. So we're going to update that to actual. And you can see the total amount for my sinking funds is £700. So again, this will update here on the top sheet. and that sinking fund's done. I just find that so much easier than having a million pots, for me and my brain. You do what works for you. Next, we're moving into probably the section where the most stuff is going on this month, and it's the bills. I don't know if this sheet that I'm working off today was an old sheet that I hadn't updated. I will have to watch my last budget with me video back to see what amounts I had in there, but basically everything was wrong on here. If you don't live in the UK, it's now May, and in April, basically everything goes up, or the price of everything changes at least. Usually it goes up, and in a lot of cases it has gone up. So before I started filming, I'd gone through this and checked absolutely everything. So I checked everything against the bank account to make sure that the amounts were right. So we're going to talk about what has changed and what that means for our budget. Where you can't see the numbers, it's not that there aren't numbers there, it's just that you can't see the numbers. I don't include every single number in these videos for financial security reasons. It's just not a good idea. But I will share with you the things that are changing. So first up, we had council tax. Council tax was £227 a month. It's gone up in April to £239 a month. So that is the actual spend. So now we need to update this because that is going to happen every single month. So my budget amount needs to be the same as my actual. The same thing has happened with Netflix. I'm going to look at our Netflix account and see whether or not we're on the right plan, because Netflix is just getting more and more expensive. And we do watch it, but I feel like it's getting to the point where I'm almost getting uncomfortable paying that amount each month. But I've updated it from £10.99 to £12.99. Our mortgage has stayed the same. TV licence has stayed the same. Water had gone up by 10p, which was a bit random. So I've updated that. Broadband and phone has typically gone up as per usual. So it's gone up from £28.05 to £29.85. I'm not sure when we're out of contract with that, but we will be looking at that. We switch our broadband every single time because the prices when you renew are just ridiculous. The pet insurance had stayed the same. Our gas and electric is the area that's actually gone down, and it's gone down a lot. So again, if you're not from the UK, we have this thing called the energy price cap, and at certain points in the year, it's updated. We seem to have gone from paying £123.85 to £85.82, which I'm not sad about, of course, but I want to just double check that everything's as it should be with that account, and that it's just because of the price cap changing. So I will definitely have a look at that. But for now, that's the amount we've been paying for the last few months, so I'm going to update it. And I might just turn this red to remind myself that I want to have a look at that. Spotify Premium has stayed the same. Are we using it enough at the moment? Honestly, I'm not sure. I might turn that one amber to see whether or not we need to keep that on. We did cancel it once before and I didn't like it, but that was back in the day when we were using it for different things. Swimming lessons, the amount changes every month. So I'm just leaving it at the higher amount because it's just the best way to budget. I'd rather have too much than not enough. YouTube Premium has stayed the same. I put a certain amount in each month for my daughter's club. The gardener I had down at 0 because in the winter they don't come, but they are back. So I need to update this to £50 per month. Oh, the cleaner, you guys. I think we've talked about the fact that we have a cleaner, or we've had a cleaner. It's been a bit up and down. Basically, after I had my son, who is now 2, at some point in that journey, we got a cleaner. It might have been when I went back to work after having my son, just to take that job off my hands. Now, I really liked our old cleaner, but unfortunately she moved. And we were paying like a service fee to this company that supplied the cleaner. So we cancelled that because we liked our old cleaner. That wasn't an option anymore. I didn't want to pay the service fee. So we found a new cleaner. But at the moment, it's just not working for me. The visits are on a day that don't really work for me. It's costing us £68 a month, and I'm just not sure what to do about it. I really don't know on that one. But needless to say, it's not costing us £41 a month, so I need to update that. Charity donations are the same. The OneDrive has gone up. I've asked my husband, do we need it? It turns out we do, so let's just update that to the right amount. Again, my husband's mobile has gone up. Window cleaning has stayed the same. Amazon Prime has stayed the same. I always have that in red because we don't need Prime. We do watch it. We do get Prime deliveries, but it's something that could definitely go in a pinch. And then sadly, childcare has also gone up. As if childcare could get much more expensive. So my son is 2.5. He currently gets 15 hours free, which are not free. I have a video about that. But he gets 15 hours free, so we get a discount for some of those hours. We also use tax-free childcare, but it still costs us a lot of money each month. It is one of the most significant items in our budget. I think it's now the second most expensive. In fact, childcare as a total is the most expensive item in our budget, but for my son alone, it's the second most expensive thing in the whole budget. But it's gone up, so I need to add another £25 onto there. My daughter's childcare is a little bit variable. We're trying to pick her up earlier. It's just wraparound care. Breakfast club she really enjoys, so I'm not going to change that for her because the reason she goes to breakfast club is because of our circumstances when we started it. Technically, she doesn't have to go as much as she does now, but she wants to and it's part of her routine, so I'm not going to mess with that. But we're trying to pick her up earlier for after school club to try and cut the cost down a little bit because it seems to have just gotten very expensive all of a sudden. My mobile stayed the same, Disney Plus has stayed the same, but again, we don't need Disney Plus. We have Disney Plus. We haven't been paying for it for the last 3 months because we got an offer. I'll have to have a look and see if there's any more offers we can claim because we have had Disney Plus for free quite a lot lately. So I'll have a look at that, but it stayed the same. And overall, our total bills, including mortgage and childcare, which is the majority of the whole entire amount that is here, almost £2,000 is the mortgage and the childcare. But the total amount for our bills is £2,457 and 58p, which is now updated over here. So what you can see in the actual cost section is you can see the income, the expenses haven't updated, we'll talk about those next, savings, which is my sinking funds, and the bills, and then there's a section for debt, which we'll talk about again later as well. So the next thing to do with expenses, you can see that we have £2,684 and 30p left from this budget. So we're going to move over to the variable budget. This is my variable budget, and again, I keep it super simple. It probably needs some tweaking. It might not work for everyone, but this is how I do it. I don't like to have 10 billion categories. I just have 4, which are food, fun, miscellaneous, and petrol. Food and petrol I feel are pretty self-explanatory, except I have said before, food is not just food, it's food and household. So if we need like toilet roll, cleaning supplies, nappies, if you can buy it in a supermarket and it happens during a grocery shop, it goes into the food budget. Fun is unnecessary things, coffee shop visits, unnecessary takeout or like McDonald's, cinema visits. It's just been half term, there's a bunch of fun stuff going on. We went to the Monkey Forest yesterday. That is a fun expense. Petrol is obvious. Miscellaneous is everything that doesn't fit in the other categories. So clothing purchases, toy purchases, just things, parking costs, things that don't fit in any other category. That is miscellaneous. And that is how I do it. I keep it super simple. I will say this budget isn't working for me. Everyone will ask, how do we keep our food within £450 a month? We don't. We have a lot of Gusto credit, so we're not paying for that at the moment. And we definitely overspend in the food category. It's something I would really like to work on and cut back on because we can definitely make savings. We go over budget in fun and miscellaneous, frankly, on a regular basis too. These will change. Once I know how much my husband is getting paid on a regular basis, I will probably update these to be a little bit more realistic. But for this month, I kind of don't see the point, and you'll see why shortly. So we're going to update them. And we are trying to cut back our spending and stay a little bit closer to within these budget categories. So if I update these to match what my budget amounts are, you can see the total comes to 1,250. So that's now updated over here, and you'll see that we are left with £1,434 and 30p. Now, because we haven't been sticking to the budget, my husband was actually in his overdraft before he got paid. It's an agreed overdraft, it's fine, we had the money to deal with it. However, instead of doing anything else, I'm just going to build that into the budget because we have the extra money this month to deal with it this way. So I'm going to put it down as if we've paid that back as a debt, if that makes sense, which then gives us £1,295 and 80p. So the big decision now is what to do with that extra £1,200. As I mentioned, my husband hasn't paid his pension contributions for this month, and we had a whole discussion about whether or not to sort of pay them retrospectively. However, he has been paying into a workplace pension for the last 19 years. he'll be paying into his new workplace pension for the rest of his career. So we decided that 1 month alone, bearing in mind that his employer contribution has gone in, so it's not that nothing has gone in, 1 month alone is not going to cause any major issues. Again, this is not advice, this is just what we have done. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, it's probably not the right thing to do, but that's what we've decided. Because we've been going over budget lately, and I haven't changed those variable expense categories to sort of update them, which they really do need doing, I'm going to leave the £295 as a bit of a buffer so that if we do go over, we have that extra cash there available that can absorb it. Because we had a night out this month, so something that me and my husband have been doing is paying for a babysitter to go out on a night out. We are parents without a village. We just have my mum who helps us out from time to time, but she lives quite far away. So it costs us quite a lot of money to have a night out once a month, once every couple of months. It costs a lot of money. So some of that money will go towards dealing with that. Some of it will go towards if we do go outside of our variable budget this month, which leaves me £1,000 to decide what to do with. As I mentioned earlier, our holiday is costing more than the amount we put in our sinking fund this year. We've put £500 towards the additional cost of the holiday, and the other £500 is going to our credit card because we still have some credit card allowance on there from when our cat died, other things that have had to be sorted in the meantime. We have a 0% credit card, we use credit responsibly. I could pay it all off immediately if I had to, but we don't have to. So the other 500 is going on the credit card. So I'm going to put down the 500 there that has gone to the credit card, the 500 there that is going towards the holiday fund. And now we can see that that brings our leftover balance to that £295, which will get eaten up by anything we go over budget, give us a bit of breathing space for once, and the night out that we've been on. Moving forward, we will still have a little bit of a credit card balance to keep working on, so the next time my husband gets paid, that will be a priority because I want that gone. We have a couple of little pots that we've depleted that I want to build back up. I'd like to increase the amount that we have in our cash savings. So we have an emergency fund, like literally it's an absolute emergency, money is on hand at any time. We then have some cash savings, we have investments, the kids have investments. You will notice I don't include any child benefit amount in this budget because my kids' child benefit goes immediately into their investment accounts. There's a lot that I've got my eye on moving forwards, and there's a lot I want to do and rebuild, but I really feel like we've just got to this point where things are on the up. So we'll have a little bit more money coming into the house each month. We can start rebuilding all those buffers and then really start to sort of crack down on our spending. But there's definitely been some, not lifestyle creep, because we don't have a fancy flashy lifestyle, but there's definitely been a lot of things coming into play that have caused us to spend more than we should. Frankly, a lot of it is the stress and overwhelm and chaos that comes with having kids. Frankly, we're not as organised as we used to be because we just don't always have the mental capacity all the time to be. There's an aeroplane going overhead and it's loud, which is rude. But that concludes my May to June budget. I will be trying to do this on a more regular basis. I did intend to do them every month, but honestly, life has been lifing. But we're at the point now where we have to do this each month because if we don't, so much is changing in our budget. Things are just going to get out of control. So we will be back. I'm going to set my intention now. We will be back for a June to July budget next month. So if you want to see that, definitely click subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions about my budget. Let me know what you do in your budget that is different, any tips that you've got, any things that you think might work for me. What would you have done about the pension situation? What would you have done with that extra £1,000? Let me know in the comments, but whatever you do, do leave me a comment. You have no idea how much dropping a comment on a video like this can help a little channel like mine. I'm Lee from Mortgage Free Lee. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. We do budget with me's. We go to Aldi quite a bit. We haven't been for a while, so I'm definitely due that. We sort my life out, and if that sounds like something you would enjoy, click subscribe and I will see you on the next one.